again, flower. Hey, it's Paul. This is the end of July, Stillwater Vineyards, Paul in the Vineyard. So I've always tried to keep these as authentic as I can because I really want 52 weeks of what happens during the year. So where we are right now is, you look out there behind me, in fact, in that first 30 rows, you could definitely see the color of the leaves out there, and that's because we're kind of coming down now where the canes are hardening up and the fruit's going through veraison. And so what are we doing right now? It's kind of final right before harvest. We're making a mow pass, but more than anything, we're estimating the weight of fruit, and I'm going to kind of show you that. So there are 47,000 plants out there. So plus or minus a pound, you get that wrong. There's about 10 pounds per plant. So a pound times 50,000, it's a lot of estimating that we're trying to do. So I'm gonna take you down and kind of show you. It's probably one of the most difficult things we do is at this point to decide how much weight's out there and why it's important. Stillwater's has requested its fruit from the ranch, which is about 65 tons. And then I work with about 15 wineries and around 60 home winemakers that have also requested their fruit. Well, so right now, I can't take any more orders, even though I'd like to, and we've got some people that would like to order some fruit, until I really get a feel for, do we have enough? Because if we don't have enough fruit, then I sell into Stillwater's fruit, which we obviously don't want to do. So we've shown you some charts, 19 years of weights, and the crazy thing is, it will go to where it varies almost 100%. So you can only imagine if the fruit weight on the ranch can go from 240 tons to 140 tons, how the heck do you decide what you sell and what you don't sell? So it requires quite a bit of estimating. So I wanted to show you, this is Cabernet, and this is what I would consider a 4-ton crop. This is our young Cabernet. We've got 4 rows that we grafted over 4 years ago. It's young, it's vigorous. Now look at the size of this cluster. And we're going through veraison. So if I put my hand behind it, you can see the size of that cluster. And so these are even called shoulders. So we call that a shoulder when the cluster puts on a shoulder. And so there's actually a couple of shoulders on this Cabernet cluster. So nice, big, full, probably a 4 to 4.5 ton crop. Don't have very much of that on the ranch. These 4 rows are kind of carrying me. Now I'm going to circle right over here so Taylor could just follow me. And we happen to have a row of Merlot right here. And so look at the difference. If I put my hand on that cluster, and if I even put my hand on these smaller little clusters, you can see just from here to there, 2 different varietals, 2 different weights. And so, and again, we'll walk down a little farther. And so what I'll show you, it's hard to see, but look in there for clusters in the Merlot. And we're not as much veraison here versus look over here at the weight of this Cabernet crop up here in that. So it just shows you how varied it is. So this is Chardonnay. For those of you that love our Chardonnay, actually a pretty nice normal crop. So what I like to talk about is also lignification. So this is the sign. This is the first sign that really shows, okay, we're coming down to the last 30 days. This cane is hardening up to be able to hold the weight. What nature's doing here is we're supplementing it with these wires. But nature's way of holding the weight of this fruit as it sizes up is by making this wood dry and lignified. And we also want the stems to do that because that actually shows a really nice level of maturity. So pretty good crop of Chardonnay. We'll take a look at one more crop. So we just looked at that Chardonnay. Now look at this Viognier. Viognier breaks your heart. It's kind of one of the reasons why I think it's a more expensive white varietal. Look at that cluster. I mean, there's hardly anything there. Look at that cluster. Hardly anything there. Probably a 2-ton crop at best. So this Viognier, a little like olives, it'll go from 5 tons to 2 tons and varies a whole lot. And it just year to year. So very light Viognier crop. Better buy our Viognier now because it's liable to be more expensive next year. Come out and see us. We're having a great time. We're taking reservations. The tasting room is beautiful, so please come on out, make a reservation, come see us.